What's going on, Button Mashers? I'm Mr. Gamer.
And I'm Kitty the Ball.
And welcome to episode 37 of SBRReports. Language is scary. So, out of the two stories, let's go to the lesser of the evils, and to be quite frankly, the one I personally didn't care about, but everyone seems to be up in arms about, and that's the new poster boy for Twitch, Ninja, after his amazing stream with Drake and all that wonderful press that he brought with Twitch. Apparently he used a racial expletive on stream.
So wait, when you stream with a rapper, you suddenly start saying the N-word?
Okay. No.
Okay, that was the joke.
Oh, okay.
It's like as soon as you get that one cool black friend.
Oh, really? Well, it's okay for me to say this. I have a black friend. No, I don't.
Who so happens to be Canadian, so I digress.
Alright, so the clip that has obviously been spread around like wildfire is Ninja playing Fortnite and rapping to Logic songs 44 and more. Forgive my ignorance for not knowing exactly what that is. But basically, there is a certain line where apparently it's known that it's very difficult to understand what Logic is saying. Perhaps, I don't know. That's what some people who are arguing on the side of Ninja that
Logic is kind of a mumble rapper, but
now going back so according to this, looking at the clip, it was okay. So the clip said, "Smoking on indica, my blank. I'm not going to say that word here. I just don't want to. Part Elijah." When the actual lyrics of the song were, "Smoking on indica might fuck around and compartmentalize you." Okay. Forgive me for not listening to the whole song, but where I stand with this is he should not have said that. I also don't think that just because he got big, because of what happened.
He should get dragged.
No. What some people are arguing, and some people being Stacey Rebecca, is that when you get big, like for example Logan Paul or someone like that, then that you just do these things. Or when you're big like PewDiePie, this word just slips out of your mouth. And more importantly, and I do apologize that I'm gonna have to like really stick at this point, but when huge white YouTubers get this big, that then they want to they feel as if they have to use those words, or that it's okay for me to say these words because I've always wanted to say these words, or something like that.
I don't think it's so much because they got big.
Neither do I.
It's just that it's in your vocabulary. Why is it in your vocabulary? I don't know. But because they're called slip-ups, and for something to be a slip-up means you use it consistently when you're not on camera. So I really don't care about people who say, "Oh, it's just a song," or it's blah blah blah. No, you say it in your everyday life. Own up to it.
Okay, well,
like that's all at this point. I don't care.
And he did. He's already made his apology statement, like most everyone who in this situation would have done. But it does beg this question, though: should anyone be using that?
That's a whole other conversation. I don't think I have the energy to be on that conversation all night long. There are many different sides to it, but because the thing is that there are African Americans, there are black folks who don't use it at all, aka you. And then there are people who use it casually or when they're singing and whatever, aka me. I personally don't care. It makes me uncomfortable when I hear white folks use it because, well, it's really racially charged in that sense. But I try to ignore it because, well, I'm not trying to spend my entire life getting pissed off at everything. And there are bigger fish to fry right now.
Okay.
And then there are people who are on your end of the spectrum and who are kind of like, "Oh, no one should say it at all."
No. My end of the spectrum is this.
Well, closer to your spectrum.
Okay, I will state my spectrum. My spectrum is this. If it's a bad word that no one should use, then it should be just that. I don't think that there should be a select words that only certain people can use.
That's the argument.
I wasn't finished.
Oh.
And what I would also say is, if it turns out that this word that this person said that you don't like hurt you or anything like that, what I don't think that should happen is, as you previously mentioned, a drag through the mud. Because now this person is oh so terrible, because based off of the logic of people like Stacey Rebecca and others, this wasn't a slip up. You use this word more than enough to have it be in your regular vocabulary for it to just come out.
When you're on camera.
So, because of that, does the use of this word make Ninja a bad person now?
I don't think he's a bad person. I don't even know the kid, but honestly, from my perspective anyway, again, it's just kind of like, I've gotten over people saying the N-word, like, especially if it's out of a song. Like, now, if it was with the hard R, I might have some questions.
I think, honestly,
I might have some questions.
I would love for our listeners to really tell me about, to like, seriously, I want to know what you guys think about that. Should that word be used by anyone? Because according to this article, it's okay for a black person in a rap lyric to say it, but if a white male repeats it, that's bad.
I also point out that, like, it's the same concept when people are like, with gay people are like, you shouldn't say the F-A-G word. Mm-hmm. Because I'm not going to say it.
No.
Because it makes me uncomfortable to say it, even as a queer person. But even that word people have issues with. But again, it's one of those, is it okay to use this word? Should only other people use this word? Because other people using this word use it as a reclaiming type of thing, versus the people of the less melanin,
mm-hmm.
That say it because it's now the hip, cool, let me wear this culture type thing. But again, like I said, we will be here all night if we have this conversation.
Oh, I guess I didn't see it as that. I guess because I personally didn't really see it as that complicated. It's either a word you can say or a word you can't say. And I mean, especially if one person is going to be punished and one person is going to be praised. I don't think that that's fair, especially when, now a poster child or whomever can now be dragged and slung, but
well, that's the price you pay when you're in the spotlight. Like, you have to watch what you do, regardless of how you might feel about it.
Okay.
Especially when you're representing a company.
Yes, now that he is the poster boy and Twitch already had all their recent updates. Yeah, I definitely agree. He unfortunately did stick he stuck his foot in his mouth with this one. He did. The article by Polygon didn't necessarily state whether he would be receiving any charges. I honestly hope that he does, because if he broke the rules, you should be punished. Period.
Yeah.
Like, he shouldn't have any special treatment just because he got all this wonderful publicity to Twitch.
Like,
I don't think that would be fair.
Like, unless your whole stick is to be a jackass.
And there's enough people like that. Don't do that, Ninja.
The thing is that I think that's the biggest thing to take away from this. He is big now. He's pretty freaking big, and he's the face of not even if they pay him or not, but he is. When you think of him, you think of Twitch.
Yeah, he's the poster boy of Twitch. No, and I definitely get that, and I guess
like PewDiePie being the poster boy for YouTube, even though I don't know why he is.
And I think that perhaps this will just be one of the things that you and I disagree with, and that's okay.
We'll agree to disagree. Because we're friends. And that's what friends do. Plus, this isn't life-threatening.
No, it isn't. I just,
But speaking of representing companies and companies jumping the gun because our government is crap.
So, I don't know. There's a little bit of a segue into this story. I don't know how many of our listeners are up with the latest, not necessarily internet culture. There used to be a YouTuber by the name of Count Dankula.
Mm-hmm. And
Count Dankula is now been charged for offensive speech in the UK. It was from a video that he made where he, quote unquote, taught his dog how to, basically he taught his dog how to be a Nazi.
Oh, that guy. Okay.
Now, it was surprising to quite a few people and not surprising to quite a few people that this gentleman who made a joke
in poor taste,
yes, is now possibly going to jail because of offensive language. People thought that it was offensive, so based off of that, let's put this gentleman in jail. Now, the reason why I mention this is because one of the things that was not spoken about very well, which is very, very important, as a communication major, the most important thing is context. You can say something two different ways, and it'll have two different meanings, and you could be using the exact same words. And unfortunately, the UK, I would say, jumped the gun, and I believe Microsoft is as well. And you're probably asking me why. Well, you will not be able to use profanity or quote-unquote offensive language with any of Microsoft's services, this being Xbox Live or Skype.
Or Microsoft Office. This is like
any Microsoft product, basically.
So, Windows in general.
So, basically, now, one of the things that I had spoken with Mr. Vol about before was something about the terms of service. And that whenever you download a program, whenever you use something, you have to agree to the terms of service.
Mm-hmm.
Now, obviously, they're going to be sending a lot of people in updates, or maybe they already have.
May 1st is when the new TOS and Code of Conduct goes into effect.
And people already on Twitter, and I guess anytime you want to boycott something or get mad at someone, you do it on Twitter.
Man, it's got to turn a point. People are finding other avenues to do these things because people are leaving Twitter too.
And I love Twitter. But anyway.
Twitter isn't that bad. Not like Facebook.
Now, here's my thought process on this, and I feel as if I feel, and Ms. Duvall, stop me if I'm wrong, I believe that between the two of us, perhaps I'm a little more conservative.
I mean, yeah, sure.
Okay. I don't necessarily see this as going against the First Amendment. And I say it because of this. Think about it like this. With for example, an Xbox Live chat, because that's Xbox Live chat and Skype. It's a service that you are, at least I'm going to use this specifically for Xbox Live. It's a service that you pay to use.
Mm-hmm.
Which means that because of that, you are invited and your fee is whatever it is that you pay a month for Xbox Live.
Mm-hmm.
Which means that you are on their platform. So they have certain rules. You abide by the rules, you stay. You don't, you go. Now, will this lead to a mass exodus of people going from Microsoft to something else? Possibly, but I feel as if there is a large push for corporations they want to be squeaky clean. They really want to be squeaky clean. They don't want any blemishes. They don't want anything. And I know you and I were also previously talking about people who, and this may not necessarily be video game related, but people in the sex worker industry where they can be affected because what they are doing is distasteful or sexually charged or something like that.
And the thing is, my biggest issue I have, because I've read over this thing, And my biggest issue is that it's so vague. It's like, how are they going to check all this stuff? How are they going to do this? Like, because what's offensive to me is not going to be offensive to you.
Yeah.
Okay. That's the thing that's been bugging me. And yes, they are private business. Yes, they can do whatever they want. I don't have to go to their house party, but their house party kind of sort of has a monopoly over a lot of things.
Yeah, I mean, they are very large. They don't have many competitors. I would agree.
My issue is that it might not seem like it attacks the First Amendment, but what about privacy?
Well, and there's the other kicker, and that goes back to what I said in the beginning, terms of service. If you agree to it, then that's just it. You cannot agree to the terms of service and not use it, and they are making that significantly harder, where it's not just a simple, oh yeah, boom, I agree to it, because you had asked how are they going to track all of that. I'll tell you exactly how they track all of that. Every conversation is logged, is saved.
Oh man, I feel sorry for the couples that have Skype sex.
And it can be pulled up.
Like,
because they have to be liable. Think about what happened with the
Oh, we should probably speak about why they're liable in the first place. There's if I can remember the name of it, Siesta or something. It's a bill that this recently got passed, or I guess half passed.
Yeah. That piece of crap.
Where essentially companies are going to be held a lot more liable for the things they...
More specifically, they're going to be liable for what their consumers
put for their out. Users and things like that. So that's why the Craigslist personal ads shut down. That's why the Reddit sex workers and anything like that stayed up. Even though I did note on Reddit, this is another thing I had talked about with things that might not be offensive to some but are offensive to others.
Mm-hmm.
Sex and dildos and things like that aren't on Reddit. But you have a subreddit where people are showing videos and pictures of people dying. Which doesn't make sense.
There's a whole subreddit of yiffing.
Which is probably gone.
Oh no, it's not.
It's not gone yet?
Nope.
Yet. Keyword.
But see, and there's the ambiguity. Like, what exactly is offensive? Who decides what's offensive?
And a lot of people are saying this bill is supposed to, combat sex trafficking and all that thing. But I have pointed out, and many people have pointed out, all that's really doing is sweeping a lot of people who are even doing things like camming and stuff like that under the rug. I mean, even Twitch girls who or cos porn girls and things like that are getting swept up into this, and they're not doing anything illegal. No,
it just goes back to everyone wanting to be squeaky clean and not have... Supposedly. Well, at least to the public eye. We have to make sure that you're not doing or saying anything that can make us look bad.
But see, the thing is that they are listening to the public eye that doesn't even understand it. They're listening to, I can't even think of these organizations' names right now. The Million Moms thing.
Yeah, I am familiar with the people you're talking about, and it's more closely tied to another M word, and that's money. That's realistically what this is. It's a push for money. It's a push for the bottom line. And right now, companies like Facebook, YouTube, Twitter, and things like that.
Facebook is already in a whole lot of other hot water.
But they run off of ad revenue, which means that companies need to say, hey, here's some money, put this ad up over here. And we all know the beautiful ad-pocalypse over with YouTube, where it's like, I don't want...
Oh, lordy.
Right, I don't want this ad placed over here because this person is saying something... This person is saying something I don't like. And the one thing that my mom always told me is if you don't like something, or if you don't like someone, don't say it with your words, say it with actions. And right now the companies are doing just that. They are saying it with actions, which is pulling their money away.
And that's all fine and dandy. That just screws over... And this is the part I don't get. They're listening to the people that supposedly have money, but the people that are actually putting money into this, that seem like the minority, are the ones getting screwed over.
Because, yes, they are
because
unseen.
Because they don't believe they actually have money. And this just goes into a whole fuel of classism and all the other isms. It's like, this whole thing's a hot mess. And Microsoft, honestly, I think... Yeah, they can do what they want. They just...
Yeah, there's...
Linux might actually get up there now.
Well, I would say Linux has quite a long way to go. I will say that Microsoft will feel the hurt for this. What I feel is if people won't be using that particular service, because you know what you can use instead? Discord.
Yeah, you can use Discord.
There are so many other avenues for you to go through. Now, will you still be using Microsoft NetPlay? Yes, of course you will, because you still have the system and you want to play with your friends. I don't think that it would be a good idea for you to just chuck out your system. Don't do that. It's not worth it.
So you might want to get a new email, because it is to the point that, like, if they decide they don't like what you're saying or doing, they will block you out of everything, including your emails.
Well,
and your accounts in general.
Well, that means that you just do it somewhere else.
Oh, that's what I was saying. You got to get a new email and all those other things.
You don't even have to get a new email. Just stop doing what you're doing on that one and then just move it on someplace else. They won't be able... They can't punish... Basically, if you use your Hotmail for your Discord, they can't punish you on Discord. They can't. Two separate companies.
No, I'm saying if... Okay, let's say you're moving certain things around, but you're still using some of their things, like their Hotmails and things like that.
Right.
Now, let's say you get on Skype and you're having a steamy, sexy thing with your wife.
Mm-hmm.
And they decide, you know what, that's inappropriate. Ban hammer. You can't use your email anymore. You got to make a new email just to log into your other stuff. That's what I'm getting at.
I'm hoping that it's not going to be that much of a dictatorship, but I do see the possible threat of something like that. I feel
it's in there. It's in there. They said they will do that if they so choose.
Yes, and oh man,
like this is why this is such a huge issue, because so many people use Microsoft. If you're not using an Apple product, odds are you're using a PC.
Oh, I'm just not using an Apple product. I'm sorry.
The majority of users out there who have a PC are not computer literate like me. So they rely on easy, user-friendly things like Microsoft, who are now doing this to them.
Well, here's the other thing, too. What I'm going to hope is that this isn't going to be for things that you do privately. And I would say that a Skype session is private.
But they can still... You said yourself not that long ago, everything gets logged.
Correct.
And that includes your Skype calls.
Right. But a Skype call can be public if it's made public. Yes, everything is also logged, but there still needs to be a reason for you going through that log and what you're looking for. Just similar to the whole Twitch thing. Mm-hmm. You could be doing something on Twitch, and then if you did something on another platform, you could still be punished on Twitch. But there still needs to be a reason for you to go out there and look. And that's if you go out there and look and you find something, because it has to be public.
Mm-hmm.
That's where I'm coming from. My hope is that that's not going to be the case, though I can see how it can easily be twisted with very little effort.
Because they're not explaining how they actually plan on doing this.
And there is just so much ambiguity between I hate the term offensive language, because no one can tell me what that exactly means. No one can tell me the exact definition of what is offensive language.
I can just tell you what offends me. Like, my grandmother would kill me if she ever heard me say duck, duck, goose. And we all know what I actually mean.
Yes. Like, I personally don't like that, but
I mean, that's my grandma. If she decides to beat me with her walker because I did that, I have to take that. But, you know, Microsoft's not my grandma.
No, it's not. And it would be extremely stupid for you to sell your systems and everything like that because Microsoft is doing this. You could still use their product. Just don't use all their chat services. And similar to what happened with EA, I want people to remember this. EA was a win for the consumer, though it took a whole while for us to get what we exactly wanted. When you speak with your pockets, they are forced to listen.
Yeah, I'm really hoping that people are seeing how much this is actually going to affect, how much this could potentially affect them, and hopefully enough people are screaming, because the whole EA thing, that's something easy to scream about. With this, because it's so vague,
people just need to know. I think people just need to know that, hey,
it's like the net neutrality thing. People didn't know what that actually meant, and they were getting all sorts of different information being thrown at them, and for a common, not pretty much anybody that's not like us with the whole actual extra knowledge on things, they didn't know if they needed to be up in arms or not.
Well, this is something that if you don't like something that a company is doing, hashtag Mr. Gamer Facts. If you don't like something that a company is doing, say it with your pocket. Because honestly, they can ignore whatever it is that you're saying. They can't ignore their bottom line. Period. That's the simplest way I could put it. Anytime you don't like you don't like what Microsoft is doing, stop using their products. Period. That's just it.
Yeah, so I'm gonna have to go over to Evernote.
Okay. Yeah.
I'm sorry.
Are you really?
I mean, I don't want to lose all my stuff.
Well, just...
And I say some really raunchy things in my stuff.
I'm sure you do.
I mean, I'm amazing.
All right, and with that being said, this is Mr. Gamer.
And this is Kitty Duvall.
Signing off.